When it comes to attachment, it's often paired with the term non-attachment. And so attachment and non-attachment seem like completely two different things and obviously in the dictionary they are opposing. But when we look at our direct experience, there's something that we discover. There really isn't, as long as we're in this like human being form, there really isn't going to be an experience where we're completely unattached. In the expression of the oneness of things, we're completely tied into the whole. Even the breath, the air that we breathe, the the ground that we stand on, the sky that we reach up toward, the food that we eat comes from the labors and sacrifices of all the beings that brought that to us, to our table. And so there is this sense that we are absolutely attached and intertwined with the whole. But when we speak of pointers, when we hear pointers in traditions like Zen, um, like to be attached to things is illusion and is not yet enlightenment, there's this, there can be this sense that they're pointing to a kind of emotional attachment, and this territory can get tricky too because as Zen migrated to the United States or the Americas, the, or the West, you could say, including the whole Occident. There's been more emphasis on psychology in more recent decades and century. So there's this whole notion of healthy attachment and what it is to have healthy working relationships where we're invested in them and we care deeply about them. And there's a kind of healthy attachment that's understandable. When that attachment becomes overly sticky to the end, to the point where who and what we are, our sense of ourself, is only validated in that scenario where we're associated with this other person or this other group of people, then we can look a little closer. We can look at, what is the sense of my own autonomy? What is it that I reference within myself for stability, for well-being, for strength? And the whole spiritual arena is really pointing to a sense of inner stillness, inner peace, inner quietude, inner joy, inner aliveness that can inform and guide our actions. And so there's this kind of core sense of referencing depth or essence, and how that strikes the note of what rings true or what resonates or what feels important, what calls us, what brings us a light, what helps flower a sense of well-being. And so there's this referencing back to a sense of self that's not needing to be defined by an egoic, separate self that needs to be defended or championed all the time. It's more of a sense of our essential being, the very core essence of who and what we are, that is sometimes called spirit or presence. And so there can be a touchstone into this presence and all of its flavors that I've been mentioning as a kind of inner environment, an inner atmosphere that we can reference for a place to reside in our own autonomy. And the more we relax out of a sense of ego identity and a sense of separate self that concretizes on, all of its conclusions, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, etc. It's all of its dividing up of the various scenarios that play before that ego. When a person relaxes and or they let go into, they delve into a more essential sense of self, the more people report this deeper sense of autonomy and a sense of deep meaning and resonance that can be found within. And then as that occurs, there's less tendency to cling to those around us for our own sense of well-being, our own sense of happiness. And so there can be this balance of very much acknowledging that we're connected. We're connected in our relationships. We're connected in our communities, our society, our whole entire ecosystem.